How to aim your third shot drop in pickleball.
So as we mentioned, the landing zone is a 2-foot block from the kitchen line. If you go farther than this, they're going to take it out of the air. If you go too short, you might miss in the net, or the ball might bounce up to where they can attack. But there is a trick to make the landing zone bigger, and that's hitting the ball cross court. So as you can see here, my tape measure is at an angle, and as we figured out from a bunch of testing, when you hit the ball cross court, you get anywhere from 10% to 25% more room within the landing zone. Just because when you draw a line at an angle in a box, it's longer than a straight line, right? So by hitting the ball cross court, you actually make it a little bit safer and more consistent to hit a drop. Another thing to consider is that when you're aiming your drops, going to your opponent's backhand is usually better than going to their forehand, because one, they can't reach as far, and two, they're usually not going to be as good at attacking off of their backhand as they are on their forehand. So this right here, if you're playing a righty, is a great target. I'm on the right side, and if you're the one hitting the drop, aiming towards the center at my backhand is a great target, because you're going to get the advantage of going a little bit cross court, and you're going to my backhand. So if they're hitting a drop at me, it's a little bit challenging for me to reach that ball. So this is a great target. If you're going for the left side, the best target against a righty is probably to go for the more angle out to the backhand, because here it's going to make me hit a backhand, and you also get the most possible benefit of hitting it cross court. So the more angle you draw, the more space you have. So you do get the risk of missing the ball wide here, but you get that huge angle and you get a ton of space in the landing zone. So those are probably the two best drop targets if you're playing a righties. Obviously, some people have worse forehands. Doesn't apply to everyone. Just two great ones to try if you want the maximum consistency and the maximum benefit of aiming your drops. And the last thing to consider is that when you're hitting your drops, it makes it a lot easier if you're just focusing on one reference point in terms of where you're aiming them. So you can either focus on where the ball is landing or where the height of the ball is when it's passing the net, but you don't want to be focusing on everything at the same time. That will confuse you. So a lot of players say that they like to focus solely on aiming a foot away from the kitchen, and they sort of just let everything else follow that. I personally prefer aiming over the net. So I like to just aim my shots at the right speed, about 8 inches to a foot and a half foot from the net. I just aim a foot over the net, and then obviously I might miss it a little bit. I'm curious though, which works better for you? Do you focus on where the ball is landing, or do you focus on where the ball is crossing the net? Make sure to let me know in the comments.